all a dream.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Let's start dreaming.
It alters your life and you never think the same again.
Some dumb thing on the edges of nowhere.
A collection of question marks stuck together into a pit of darkness. No logic, no reason, no explanation.
We can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice between fear and love.
That's just deep, bro. That's deep.
Good evening, Dream Team. My name is Mikey. Welcome back to our newest episode of L.S.D, episode 20, I believe.
And my name is Carson. This is the Loose Sphincter Diaries podcast, where we talk about our medical problems involving our anuses, our collective ani. That is the plural.
That's nasty, but we have done that before. And I just want to say Merry Christmas to you guys. If you don't celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays.
Happy holiday. There we go. There we go. That's the one. You know you're getting old when you get some underwear and you're just like, fuck, yes!
Mm-hmm.
Because underwear is such a gem of a gift. Underwear and socks are just like, they're like honestly top tier gifts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wearing my new Calvin Kleins right now. Oh my god, like they feel so nice. And I've been working out the past couple months, and like honestly, I need some compression tight underwear. And it's just so fucking nice. And I also have a new chair, everybody. So now every time I sit down, I don't have a heart attack from a broken chair, and then it just falls apart. Because that's what happened with my old chair. So thank you, Santa. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Love you guys.
I think that you don't ever go out and get socks and underwear for yourself.
No.
It's just something you don't usually go out and do unless you really have to. So Christmas time comes around, you're like, oh man, my underwear have been feeling a little bit crusty recently. Let me try these new ones on. You get a fucking 5-pack of them. It's nice.
Oh, did you get any underwear?
Not this year. I got plenty of underwear, but I got some socks.
I was running low, cause I don't know. I've had the same underwear since I was like fucking 14.
Because you blow out the backs of them so frequently.
Hey, funny thing, all my shorts have holes in them, like where my butt is, where my butthole. And there's no coincidence with that. It's just there. And I don't know why.
Well, something's going in or
there.
something's coming out.
Wink, wink. But yeah, I hope you all had some happy holidays. Carson, would you like to talk about what we want to talk about today?
Yeah, we were going to take this time to kind of wrap up of the year. New Year's coming up. 2020's been an interesting one, been bad in a lot of ways.
Definitely.
But
good too to some, but
yeah,
actually honestly bad.
Yeah, no, I think at large it's been a rough year for a lot of people. It's kind of been this weird year that nobody's ever experienced something like this before
Or expected.
But I think the really cool thing is that us as people have found different ways to cope and different ways to adjust our routines so that we can live in this quote unquote new normal and actually thrive in it. So that's shown me the resilience of people, of humanity.
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
I was gonna say that humans are very resilient.
Yeah,
we bounce back. We find ways to combat things, and we always step above. Or try to, at least.
So
yeah, it's been crazy.
So we wanted to talk about music because we often talk about music on this podcast. We're really into music. We're both big music heads, and so we kind of wanted to talk about our favorite stuff that's happened this year in music, in the world of music. So we've kind of put together. I've compiled my 5 best albums of the year personally, and then I had a couple, runners up, honorable mentions, and Mikey has done the same. So Mikey, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, and I want to say let's go one for one each time, okay?
Okay, so do you want to do your number one, I'll do my number one, and we go back? Okay.
I'll also say I listen to a lot of music. I've listened to a lot of music in the past 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. But this year was honestly one of the years I've listened to the least amount of music, just because I have a 9-to-5 now. And so it's not sad. I'm not going to say it's sad, but I haven't had the time to explore new music like that, or I used to be on Reddit all the time, oh, hip hop heads, what's new? Oh, this, that, this. But now it's just I know my artists have new albums and I'm really enjoying them, but I don't make all the time in the world to explore new music. but I still had a list because obviously I listen to music. So with that being said, take a wild guess, everybody who knows me, what my number one might be.
Oh, let me take a guess. Is it anything but Eternal Take? Is it? I mean, I'm assuming that's 1, 2, and 3.
I lumped Eternal Take and Love Is Rage 2 or Little Uzi versus the World 2 together because it's the deluxe version. Although they are kind of two different albums, but for the sake of this list, I lumped them together. Uzi dropped 3 different projects this year. What a time to be a Uzi fan! Oh my god! Like I had literally been waiting since 2017. I'm like, okay, this is coming out. You said 2018. Okay, 2019. Okay, when the fuck is this coming out? This man kept on saying, okay, it's coming out. Oh, I'm quitting rap. Oh, it's coming out next month. This month. Oh my god, the amount of times I was disappointed waiting for Eternal to Take. Oh, and then when it came out, it wasn't anything I expected, but like, it was fire. And he's just like so. He also said it was a performance album too, which is a cool thing because he can't do it yet. I mean, there's no concerts.
Yeah,
If there are,
rough
they're,
time to
really
drop
social.
something like that.
Yeah, and he tweeted it out. It's a performance album, and you can kind of tell like the transitions from the album, from the song to song. There's these little kind of skits, like you hear the UFO crashing, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" And it's just such a cool experience. And he is drilling on these songs. He's going hard. It's like I like melodic Uzi a lot. Like I always like his melodic songs with his crazy beats. But a lot of these are just like I'm not gonna say drill. I don't think that's the right word. But he's really chopping it. He's just chopping it up and.
You're going back to his roots, his his Philly ass roots.
His Philly ass, fast ass, hence his name, Lil Uzi raps like a Lil Uzi, and he's going up vertical. But that shit was fire. I liked a lot of the tracks on it, obviously. And the deluxe version too.
Hell yeah.
Lotus was definitely my favorite track off the deluxe. But You Better Move. The first 3 songs. I have the track list up here, but the first 3 songs. What do we call them? Baby Pluto, Silly Watch, You Better, Baby Little Pluto, Low Main, Silly Watch, Pop, You Better Move. Like, oh my god, even all the transitions from those first songs into each other are just so clean. And they're just so hard and nasty and naughty, and it's just, ugh. And so, yeah, I'm very glad that was released. And that is my number 1, and that's why it's my number 1. Feel free to go into more detail about your stuff. Feel free to go less detail. Also, Futsal Shuffle. Part 2, I don't care for part 2 that much, although it's really cool to have like the same beat, although it's different noises, but the same skeleton of a beat on a different song with different lyrics and somewhat different instruments. That was really cool to hear part 2 in EXO Tour Life, how they're so similar.
I really like that when artists do something like that, where they take a line that they've used like early in an album and they use it 2 or 3 more times in different contexts, or they do the same beat, like the same exact like skeleton of a beat, and they do a different song on it. Or I've even heard on the Czarface Doom project a couple years back, they did a song Captain Crunch, and then later in the album did a song called Captain Brunch. And they're the same. It's the same lyrics. It's literally the exact same lyrics, but it's a different beat, and it feels like a completely different song. Like tonally, it feels like a different song. It's very cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll check that out. What the hell?
And,
Yeah, a lot of rappers do a lot of references like that. Like, oh, they have like many overarching themes or words that they use throughout their songs, and I like that. I do enjoy that.
yeah.
I think it can get old at times, but
I think
like
if it's very intentional and there's a reason behind it, it ends up feeling pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, my number 1, I think, is also an easy guess if you know me and you know my music taste. This is an album that I talked about at length throughout this year to multiple different people. It is the new Run the Jewels project.
I was gonna say that.
RTJ4. I felt really underwhelmed with RTJ3, even though there was a couple good songs on it. I just feel like as a whole, it didn't really come together and mesh together the same way that the first 2 did. So I was thoroughly impressed with RTJ4. It might be my favorite in the RTJ series.
Wow.
Just because damn near every song on. I mean, RTJ 2 is probably the best, but 4, just every song has so much going for it. There's maybe one or two songs on that album that I don't like as much, but that doesn't even mean I don't like them. It's some of the best flows, some of the best performances from both LP and Killer Mike, some of the best beats I've ever heard from them. Great features, like limited features, but when they are used, they're used very well. Especially in the case of the of one of the bigger tracks, or the two of the bigger tracks rather, Just with Pharrell Williams and Zach De La Roca, and Ooh La La with now I'm forgetting that guy's name. Uh, whatever, whoever sings the hook on that song, I'm forgetting, but it's just a really well put together semi concept album, and it dropped right when the riots were happening. I don't think it was planned in that way to drop in that context, but just so much of RTJ's music throughout the years has been anti-system,
Oh wow.
anti-corporations, anti-police. Like that's a lot of their message that they like. Killer Mike has been an activist for many years in Atlanta and just in different sectors, mostly gun rights and the rights of African Americans, and all these different great causes. And just this album felt so perfectly timed for what society was going through at that point, and it was just excellent. It's just absolutely excellent. Favorite tracks off of this thing have to be either, oh, I forgot about the 2 Chainz song, the 2 Chainz feature.
Oh.
Either that track, but more than likely it's Just, because it has one of the best messages and some of the best just some of the best lyrics on the whole project. And Walking in the Snow. Jesus Christ, there's so many good songs. Walking in the Snow, Killer Mike's last verse on Walking in the Snow, damn near made me cry because it's just so good.
Wow. That was beautiful, Carson. That was very well put together, very beautiful. And yeah, it's really fucking cool when an album comes out at a nice time. Like Eternal Would Take for me, like that was the start of quarantine. That was the start of all this pandemic shit, early March, mid-March. And so it was just a nice boost because everyone was just like, what the fuck is this? And then, oh, at least we have a new Uzi album.
Yeah.
But yours seems like a really good time. That album seems like a really good timed one too.
I saw videos of riots happening and songs from the album being played in the back, like in the background, like people, "Fuck the Police" was the #1 trending song on Apple Music during the time of the riots, but that album, I saw a couple different clips actually of songs from that album being played at riots because it's just so on brand.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thing.
All right, what you got at number
Neat.
2?
Number 2. Like I said, we had 2 Uzi albums this year. Three if you want to count Lil Uzi Vert versus the World 2. But number 2 for me takes Pluto and Baby Pluto, the deluxe version with a Future and Lil Uzi Vert album. I didn't even know that's a collab I wanted. I didn't even actually think I cared. I didn't think I'd want it that badly. But like Future has collabed with so many people. Drake, Zaytoven, Young Thug. I know I'm missing one, but he's got he's got a song with The Weeknd. He's either got song. Oh, in Juice WRLD, he's got songs with either everybody or a mixtape with like a few guys. And it's also one of those albums where it's a great balance for me of a lot of like hard bars, but also a lot of melodic songs. My favorite tracks off of them, I Don't Want to Break Up. Uzi just has this such a grungy, like emo-y, but rappy chorus line, and it's just so awesome. He's like, I don't want to break up. Like, I love that shit. I love when Uzi sings on the track like that, and it makes my mind fucking blow up. And even when he goes more emo, grungy, but also still staying true to his rap vocals, when he mixes all that together, that's what I love when Uzi does. Is this new direction of like more emo, grunge, punk music. Also, other favorite track is That's It. The back and forth on that one is just so fucking naughty. Like, they're just cutting through the beat like a knife. Like they're just falling back and forth like a feather falling in the air. It's just back and forth and back and forth. Oh, obviously all these other tracks. First of all, it's a 24 song album, an hour and 30 minutes of music, just about.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's kind of uncommon these days. Most people are
But-
dropping like 30-minute albums.
Yeah, because I think it's more economically, from what I've read, it makes a lot more economic sense to have a lot less tracks,
Yeah.
just by the money standards. Marnie on Me is good. All of these are good. I can't single them out. But like I said, my favorite ones are I Don't Want... Oh, Over Your Head. That's not from the album. Oh, that it's on the album, but that was a single before it. That is also one of my favorite Uzi songs right now. Just because, like I said earlier, I played it in one of the songs of the week a while back, but the emo vocals just get me. The emo what do you call them? The emo choruses just get me. And I didn't really know that this was coming out too. It's kind of just like a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Like he for both of these albums, he's like a day or two earlier, maybe like a couple days earlier before they dropped. He's like tweets. He's like new album, and then the next day, boom, album. And it's just like holy fuck, like you just did that. And that's what I like too, is that there wasn't any waiting for that. Like it was a complete surprise. Like I'm sure everyone would have been fine with Eternal Take and Love Is Rage 2. Or Little Uzi Vert versus the World 2, and it would have been a fine year for a Uzi fan because everyone was waiting for that long. But no. And right now, Uzi is on album mode. You see his story, you see his posts on Instagram. All he is doing is posting new snippets that he's literally making on the spot. He's got his purple hair. I think he's dropping a new album called Forever Young. I'm not sure when, but if I could take a guess, it's picking up on the themes of him having this, staying forever young. He's got this purple hair now. He's lost all his piercings. Hopefully, it's not bad, him going back trying to be something he's not anymore. But I have full confidence that he can do something crazy, like he's done the past 3 times this year. Oh, and going back to the Eternal Take and Little Uzi Vert versus the World 2, like he literally just tweeted Deluxe coming, and then next fucking week. You had 1 week of this new album, and then boom, the next week, the whole another album just comes out. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not real. Like, he just did this. He's tweeted out too. He's like, I'm treating 2020 like 2016. He really has been treating 2020 like 2016 with 3 drops so far. Like, fuck. But yeah, that is my number 2.
That is exciting when you get an album with no wait, because so much of this music industry is all about hyping up an album, taking the Kanye West approach, saying it's going to come out this day, and then it doesn't come out, so everybody's looking for it, and then they're like, well, when is it going to be out? And then you just keep dragging it out until people are just chomping at the bit to get your album. But it really shows something about an artist where they know that they can promote it the day before, and people are still going to consume it. That's it's impressive. It shows a lot of popularity, but it also
That's
shows
really
a lot
crazy.
of shows a lot of confidence in your own fan base. My number 2 for this year is an album I didn't expect to make my number 2, just based on the artist, is Amine's Limbo.
I knew you put that too.
That is
At least one of them up there.
front to back phenomenal project. I remember when he dropped Good For You, and I liked it but didn't love it. And this album has just improved on every aspect of his style. He's really he's creating the Portland hip hop style, because Portland has the genesis of the punk scene. That was his identity musically for so long, was punk, flannel shirts and cut off denim. Like that was what Portland was and what they brought to the table. So the fact that he's creating this style with all these influences from different regions, and bringing it home to Portland, that's really cool. He's got that great quality where he can make a really fantastic melodic song, and then he can make a song that's not necessarily bars like a traditional hip hop fan would consider, but just hard hitting vocally. He's got both of those aesthetics down pat. My favorite songs off this project were Pressure in My Palms, even though it features Amine vocally some of the least on the album. But great feature from Vince Staples. And I really love Fetus. with Injury Reserve. I think that might be one of my favorite songs of the year.
That's the one you showed me, correct?
Yes, yes.
That was that was a great song. I haven't listened to any of that album,
Uh,
but
rest in peace to Groggs, to Stepa Groggs, from Injury Reserve, died this year. And rest in peace to
R.I.P.
him. That's just like a terrible loss to the hip hop community, because he was so young and he had so much more to give. And just my condolences to his family. Him and Richie of Injury Reserve had a great moment on this project where Groggs ends his verse with the line, "I hope I could be half the father that my mama was." And then Richie comes in with, "I hope I can be half the father that the Mamba was," talking about Kobe
Damn.
Bryant. Just that one actually made me cry when I first heard it. And every time I hear it, I just get chills, because I mean, the first part of that line is just so excellent. I hope I could be half the father that my mama was. Just that's just a great moment, and a great way to say, like, that his, my mom raised me, my mom played the part of both parents because she had to, and I hope I can do the same for my children. And that's what's so sad about his passing, is that he had a daughter. And that it's just tragic. But back to the album, it's just an excellent album, front to back. A lot of great melodies on there. Riri's another great song. Shimmy's another great song. The singles off the album, really like that one.
I want to check out at least one of the albums you recommend. Probably Run the Jewels 2 or 4 rather. But okay, my third album is The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. I like that genre. I like Tame Impala. I like Caged Elephants. I wouldn't call them actually the same genre, but like I like what Tame Impala does. I really like his sound. I thought I could do his voice. It, the what impresses me is that he makes everything. That's so fucking impressive to me. He spends
Yeah.
hours and hours. He's like almost a perfectionist with music. He'll do the same vocal like 100 times till he gets it right. And I mean, not everyone does that. Not everyone has to do that, but I mean that's just his way. The production on all his tracks are just fucking phenomenal. And Eternal Take and this album were relatively at the same time. Also my fourth album, but I'm not gonna say that yet. And that was like the first quarter of this year, and it was just a really challenging time for me. It was a really different time for me. Like I was very sad. I was really, really sad, and like this music was something I had to hold on to. But some of my favorite tracks. One More Year, the intro is just such a trippy intro. It's just like it feels like to me like I don't know if you've ever done L.S.D. Reality's kind of getting ripped away. Something's getting ripped away. The time doesn't feel like anything. It's a really trippy track. Two of my favorite tracks though are Borderline and Posthumous Forgiveness. The message on Posthumous Forgiveness is just talking about his dad and how he was, he always thought he was a superhero, but he's dead. I can't even do it justice. That was a bad explanation, but Borderline. Also, the single version of Borderline was a lot better than the album version, but the jiggy disco 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god! Like that was something I think we needed in this year. It was such a switch up for the music. I could even play that around my parents too, and they're like, holy crap, what is this? This is awesome. And I'm like, fuck yeah, it is, because it was so jiggy.
Yeah.
But it felt like a more evolved Tame Impala album compared to his older stuff. Although I mean, obviously, it sounds kind of on board. But I've been a Tame Impala fan for a while, especially in other contexts of psychedelics. But I also listened to him without psychedelics.
Yeah, no,
Lost yesterday too. Trippy video, a great video, great song. The progression of the progression of chords, the progression of fucking the melodies. I just really like what he has. So if you haven't listened to it, I would say if you're not gonna listen to the whole thing, listen to Borderline, Posthumous Forgiveness, and Lost in Yesterday.
Yeah, he's really done a great job at bringing up a genre that was kind of beginning to become underground in the modern age, since the modern age is all hip hop. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's really brought that, the psych rock genre to the forefront, and made it really consumable, and made it really, really just different. So I I haven't been on that particular album as much. I haven't given him as much of my time, but I just anything that guy puts out, I'll more than likely listen to.
His vocals, I might have said it earlier, but his vocals are just gnarly. The delays, the reverb, just his vocal pitch. I can't do it. I
All
thought I
right.
could.
All right, we
What's your
gotta,
number 4?
yeah, we gotta speed by the. Well, this is my number 3.
Oh yeah.
Is Unlocked, the Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats project. This year has been fucking the year of Kenny Beats. Just everything that guy puts out is a hit or close to it. He cannot miss seemingly, and this collaboration with Denzel Curry is just perfect. Once it dropped, I think everybody that listened to it was like, they should do this all the time, and I think they're going to continue to. I think they have 2 more projects slated for the future, and it's just, this is, back to the roots of hip hop. Really good stuff. A lot of great beats on there that feel a lot like, old school, MF Doom type shit, but a little bit more, techie, a little bit more robotic in a good way. Denzel is just annihilating all these beats as he does. How talented he is. My favorite songs on the project have to be Pyro and Take It Back.
Okie dokie. I don't even know who Kenny Beats is, to be honest with you. My number 4 is After Hours by The Weeknd. It's always something magical when The Weeknd drops a new album, and it's just, he's a legendary artist in my eyes at this point. He's been it for a while. Starboy, this one, MDM. Yeah. But yeah, great songs. My favorite songs on it would be Blinding Lights, obviously, and In Your Eyes. Amazing songs. Very, also going back to like this kind of old, it's like an 80s song. I like this 80s style that he brought forward, and it made like this mainstream 80s hit almost. I would play it for my parents too, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, this wasn't made in the 80s. Who is this?" I'm like, it's The Weeknd. But yeah, it's great
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, no, that vintage style that he brought on that project was very impressive.
His, like, not even just the music, but his looks, his fucking mustache and his suits and his hair. That was so cool. I don't know why or how he did that, but he just brought in this new wave for himself, which is cool because he reinvented himself from his big hair to just this. I mean, I think he reinvented himself a time before in between, but yeah, I like that album.
Yeah, I guarantee you right now we're going 5 minutes, 10 minutes over,
That's
which is
okay.
fine. I don't give 2 fucks.
Me neither.
My number 4 album. Yeah, we can go 40 minutes on this one. I don't give a shit. My 4th album, number 4 of the year, is kind of just a gimme, just because I'm so into the artist as a person and whatever he puts out. I mean, this is not one of his best projects I've ever heard, but just in the context of the year, it's definitely still in my top 5. Is Aesop Rock Spirit World Field Guide. Really a long project, not a super long project in length, but in song, in track list. He usually puts together like these 3 to 4 minute songs and makes an album out of those, but on this one he's done something a little bit different, and he's got tracks on there that are 1:30, and then some that are 5 minutes. He really has just has made a bunch of different types of songs. Like it does feel like just this weird mukbang of music. There's no particular direction, and the theme of the album lets you know that up front. Like, hey, this is like a field guide. This is telling you all these different lessons and important things you need to know, and none of them really have to do with each other. I like when an artist does that. Danny Brown did that with, You Know What I'm Saying, a year or 2 ago, when he came out and made it clear, look, this is not a thematic project. There's no particular direction. It's a collection of songs that I thought were good. And that's what this feels like to me. Dog at the Door is one of my favorite Aesop Rock songs of all time, because it's so simple. The idea is so simple, and that's not something you usually get from Aesop. It's usually very overcomplicated and something you have to thumb through for a while to understand. But The Gates is also a great song. One of the best singles I think he's ever come out with. One of the most consumable songs I think he's ever come out with. And Gauze is another one of my favorites on this project. Just all in all, if you're a hip hop head, like an old school hip hop head, this is a project that I think you'll really enjoy.
Nice. What was it called again?
Spirit World Field Guide.
Okay, yeah, you've told me about that, and I've listened to a song. All right, my number 5, Savage Mode 2, 21 Savage, and Metro Boomin. Really bringing it back to 2016 again, when with Savage Mode 1 dropping with Metro Boomin and 21. I didn't expect that drop. It might have been a thing, but I had no clue it was coming out. And when it came out, I was just like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" My first listen through. I was like, "This guy is not missing right now." And the fucking Morgan Freeman feature on the interlude, yo, that had me like, yo, I was like, "What the fuck?" They got Morgan Freeman on a track, which is not the first time I've heard Morgan Freeman on. Actually, no, Neil deGrasse Tyson was on a Logic track, not Morgan Freeman. But favorite song by far is Mr. Right Now with that Drake feature, and that slapping beat. Oh my god, it's like spanking a like fucking woman or man, whoever you want to spank. Not much else to say. Like I said, haven't listened to a whole lot of music this year, but I guess this falls under one of my favorites this year, as I do like 21. It's not really his soft guy album from what was his last one, the one with the pink cover.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
He went more like I made my money, I'm investing now.
The one with bank account on it.
Yeah. But like this one kind of came back to his like savage roots, like just killing and murder to an extent, and I really liked it. And it's like I don't give a fuck mentality. That's what got me in the first place. Is like 21 Savage came out in 2016, and he's just talking about murdering people and like killing and knives and guns and like this guy's hard and his beats are hard. He's with Metro Boomin. And he's got this flow that's just like monotone and like I don't give a fuck.
Savage Mode 2 was not one of my favorites or an honorable mention for me, but I will say I didn't like Savage Mode, the original. That's not an album I like very much. And I think that he had to make these leaps in his career stylistically and be able to do all these different things musically in order to make Savage Mode 2 a better album, I think, than Savage Mode 1.
I
because
definitely agree.
The original Savage Mode is just so one note. It's so the same every single track. There's not really a whole lot of variation, even in the beats. There's just one long just plain white wall, it feels like. There's not really a whole lot going on. And on the new project, they actually brought some theatrics to it to make it a little bit more engaging the entire time. So I do credit 21 and Metro Boomin for evolving.
I think Savage Mode 1 really fit the time it was released in, and I really think like the trap era, and I think it was a great album.
Yeah, it's a time and a place. It's a time and a place.
Hard as fuck. Especially when you're doing bad shit back then. Legal things.
My number 5 is an album I didn't expect to even listen to, because this is an artist that I didn't know about until this album, or I was familiar with but didn't really ever listen to or go dive deep into. It is All My Heroes Are Dead by R.A. the Rugged Man. I was looking at a list early in the year, what are the best albums that have come out recently, and this was like number 13 on the list. I was like, okay, let me give this a try because it has an interesting looking cover. The description was pretty interesting. I wanted to check it out. And I got to say, he is underrated as an artist. He's been doing it since Biggie Smalls. He's been in the game for years. He's a veteran at this point, but he's had all these label disputes and all this stuff going on in his personal life that he hasn't been able to drop a whole lot of solo music. He's done a lot of big features, but his solo music has been pretty slim. For a guy that's been in the game so long, he's dropped 3 full-length albums. And this one, I went back and listened to his old stuff, and it's not nearly as good and as polished as this one. This is a great album. There's a couple so-so songs on it because it's pretty long, but there's a lot of really, really good stuff on there. He has this like very much old school New York style. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want. Nobody's going to tell me what I can say. I resent that people try to tell me what I can and cannot say. It's very much like old Eminem, how old Eminem used to be like, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna say the gnarliest shit and get everybody all worked up about it. But it doesn't feel like it's biting off of that. It feels like very organic to RA. Legendary Loser, the single off the album, is one of my favorites. Dragonfire is another one of my favorites, just because I'm very partial to any song that has the woo tang interlude. I fucking love that. And then the Slayers Club is just a banger of a song with fucking, the raspy voiced Vinnie Paz, and Ice-T makes an appearance at the end. It's just an excellent album for old school fans.
Neat. I never heard of that guy. Never once. All right, let me take one honorable mention, or maybe two. Blame It on Baby, the deluxe version. I never really listened to Lil Baby or the Baby before this year. But I started listening to him when I worked out, and then I only actually started listening to this album like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, holy fuck, I love his flow. Like I appreciated the Baby because his poise and his demeanor and his just delivery is just, yeah. He's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna say everything, and I'm rich and I'm awesome and I'm fucking all these girls and I'm just amazing and I'm a man and I'm a shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like his delivery on these songs and his beats. Ooh, and like what I noticed was like newer Uzi and DaBaby almost have very, very, very similar flows when they're just rapping like that. And I was like, oh my god, like this is why I like DaBaby. Like he sounds like Uzi almost. Like not anything like the melodic Uzi, but like when Uzi's rapping, like really rapping, they sound very similar. But yeah, I really like that album. And then Whole Lotta Red just dropped on Christmas Day, which I haven't listened to. Like the last Playboi Carti album I listened to fully was his Playboi Carti in 2017. I like that album. I do enjoy it. And this one I got like halfway through, but it was just crazy. He sounded really punk. It felt like being in somebody's mind. Like the production was crazy. The vocals were crazy. He was screaming on some of these. He really felt like punky, and I fucked with it. I really, really fucked with it. I haven't finished it yet, but like, people have been waiting for this album for quite some time now, and I really enjoyed it. Someone said, I've seen a lot of negative reviews about it, but I fuck with it. I really do fuck with it so far. Yeah. How about you, Carson? I got a couple more, but I mean, I'm just gonna shout out Anniversary by Bryson Tiller. I haven't actually listened to it, but man's made a new album. I listened to one song actually, but yeah, nicely done, Bryson Tiller. Your album after Trap Soul kind of sucked. I mean, no, it didn't suck, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't Trap Soul. It was nowhere near Trap Soul. And Trap Soul was a legendary album. Sex album, Feels album, Chill album, anything album. Trap Soul's fucking amazing.
It's tough for an artist, I feel, to drop a really amazing project that everybody likes, and then you have to follow it up with something. So I think a lot of artists, when they're in that position, do something where it's like, I'm going to switch style for an album. I'm going to do something experimental so that if it's not as good, people understand. And people understand I'm trying something new.
He swept the world with that first one. And I like that it dropped in the fall, too. Like, that's such a fall-time album. Oh, my God. Like, it's cold, cuffing season. And, I mean, this album obviously did not come out this year or any years soon. But I'm going to say just Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. I've been listening to that album a good amount. Fucking well, I like that Billy Idol shit. But yeah.
My honorable mentions for this year are I got two Madlib albums because Madlib's been having a hell of a year. Alfredo with Freddie Gibbs. That's making a lot of these hip hop bloggers top 10 lists, and I understand why, just because it's like one of the best lyricists working right now and one of the best producers of all time, any era. Price of Tea in China with Boldy James, and no, I was about to say Madlib, The Alchemist. I'm talking about The Alchemist. Fucking Price of Tea in China with The Alchemist, Boldy James, just excellent project. I actually only listened to that very recently, and it's exactly what I expected from it. Very lo-fi production, very kind of low key the entire time. Everything is Beautiful by Princess Nokia. I like that one as well as the other album she released basically at the same time, Everything Sucks. She did Everything is Beautiful, Everything Sucks. I like Everything is Beautiful a little bit better, but I've been on the Princess Nokia train for a while now. I think she's very underrated.
Haven't you?
West Side Gun, Pray for Paris. Didn't expect to like that one as much as I did. It's a style I usually don't gravitate towards, but I really liked it. Thought it was really gritty, really grimy, really well put together. And then for my last honorable mention, this is an album I've only very recently gotten into, and I need everybody that's still watching at this point to get on this shit immediately. Immediately. It was fucking close to making my top 5. It was Blimes and Gab, Y'all About It. That is,
What the fuck?
or talk about it. I wrote it down wrong. Talk About It. That's what it was called. Blimes and Gab, Talk About It. Fucking crazy. I've been saying forever that girl rap is amazing and it doesn't get enough love, and everybody kind of reduces it down to Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, which I'm not saying anything bad about them. I like both of those artists, but everybody reduces it to one particular thing, one style. And this is a group, 2 girl rappers. They're like a fucking female Run the Jewels. They can flow like crazy. They got this just amazing ability to flow. They can sing. They have great singing voices, a lot of great melodic stuff. They have this very much old soul vibe on a lot of their more melodic stuff. Like if you listen to early Tyler the Creator, when he would do the soul stuff on Goblin and on Wolf, like that is the beats you're kind of looking at here.
Dang.
But just fucking, oh my lord. The opening track on this album, Talk About It, the opening track, Baptism, I believe it's called, is one of the best samples I've heard in a very, very long time. I was looking at their shit on YouTube, and like their music videos have like 100,000 views. Nobody's talking about these girls, and they're so good. They're way too good to not be getting any credit. So go check them out. If you're not going to check anybody else out from this video that we've talked about, go check out Blimes and Gab, because they need the love and they're so talented.
I have never once heard of them. I will say that confidently.
Dude, they're amazing.
I want to say, if you're gonna listen to a Whole Lot of Red, which I suggest you do not go into it like a music critic. Do not go into it like, oh, what the fuck is he saying? He's not saying any bars. Like, it's music. It's something you feel. It's not something you have to critically analyze to the bone. Like, you can, and you're gonna be disappointed, but go into it just feeling it.
Go into it knowing it's not gonna be good. And just who cares? It's like watching Grown Ups. It's like watching Grown Ups. Like, don't go into it as a movie critic. Just go into it being like, look, I'm gonna turn my brain off and watch Grown Ups.
When I listened to it, it just literally sounded like I was in the mind of a schizophrenic person. Like, the way the mixing and production was, the way the vocals bounced off the walls, the way he was screaming these things, like, it was cool as hell. And I appreciate it.
I do have to disagree with the critical and analysis thing. Like, I think you can critically analyze something, even if like it doesn't have to be hip hop bars, like crazy bars or anything like that. Like if Playboi Carti's dropped good music before, he's had music where it's like, yeah, no, the aesthetic of this is so good that it makes up for anything that I would have bad to say about it, because that's the point, is the aesthetic, it's the vibe. But he's also dropped music that isn't good and is kind of just, like biting off of somebody else. Like you can make that type of music badly and you can make it well.
People, I hate, like, I'm talking about people who are like, oh, who's top 5 rappers? And then people are like, oh, this, that, this, and the third. And they're like, no, that's not it. Like, well, it's all subjective. It's all fucking subjective. So
music is subjective.
Also, shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. I ain't listened to her new album, but any of her 2020 albums.
But
should be
whelming.
WAP was a drop of this year. Shout out to WAP.
Yeah, WAP is one of the best of the year. But that new Megan Thee Stallion album, if you're chomping at the bit to listen to that, I would lower your expectations a lot, because it's not that good. It's like super fucking sad how not good that album is, because it should, like, a Megan Thee Stallion drop. She's been killing it, and to drop something that subpar is just it's just disappointing.
Was it really that subpar? I haven't listened.
It wasn't good. It just it
I don't
feels
even know
like
about it.
it feels like it was mixed and mastered in a day. Like it just doesn't.
Oh.
It's not good.
Well, guys, as I look at the time, we are far over our usual episode limit.
Yeah.
We're reaching towards our frat chat episode limit, but I hope you all had a nice Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Have happy holidays. Looking forward to this new year. Although, everybody, go in with a smile and try your best, and just be better than you were yesterday. My name is Mikey. Please follow us on Instagram at Wade Loki. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like the video, comment, share, subscribe. Like I just said again. My name is Mikey. I'm signing out. Pretty bad at disclosing out things sometimes, but
Yeah, we got to
just
get
me.
better at this. We got to get better at this because we have no chemistry on the close.
On the what?
On the close, like when we close
Oh.
out videos, we just we can't put it together. I got a podcast, comes out every Tuesday. It's called the Shock Therapy Podcast on this channel. If you want to listen to more of the bullshit that comes out of my mouth, you can go ahead and check that out. This is Carson signing out.
Have a good one, guys.
Been feeling disconnected now. I get money.